one of the top experts in the world on sales.
King of collaboration.
He's on the cutting edge, and what he does works.
Jim Padilla.
CEO of Gain the Edge.
He is the leader when it comes to sales and conversions.
A sales and business coach to some of the biggest names in the country.
Jim Padilla is known as the go-to guy for all things sales.
Welcome to Make More Sales Podcast with Jim Padilla, your host, your guide, and thanks so much for being here and being tuned in. If you're here, it's because you're looking to make more sales. It's really that simple. It's not rocket science, right? You understand that without sales, you don't have a business. And the conversation that we are in all the time is stop making it so hard on yourself to make sales. We build so much in resistance until we rely on all kinds of things. We have done everything in our power to avoid making sales. That it is comical. And I want to share a quick story with you about something that just happened today in our company. And I decided, something you need to know because it's something that's an epidemic. There's an epidemic of overqualifying, overqualification. It's a combination of us valuing our time a little bit too much, valuing our own presence more. Like we feel like we're more important than the person who's talking to us. And if you're being challenged or triggered by anything I'm saying, good. That's the tension, right? We get really, really into this place of, I'm only going to speak to the people who are perfectly qualified at this point, at this place, have done this, have done all these benchmarks, right? The more technology we have, the more we want to put it in play. The more we want to say, okay, let's make sure that these assessments are in place. Let's make sure that all of these fill out. They have to fill all these questionnaires. They have to go through these hoops. They have to do all these things. And we all fall prey to it, right? I'm just as guilty of doing this stuff as anybody else is at times. I've just learned. And today was another bright, shining example of what I'm going to share with you. The first thing is you're valuing your time with the wrong formula. We tend to value our time with a 1-to-1 ratio. I want to spend 1 hour and get 2 hours in return. I want to spend at the minimum, I spend 1 hour and I earn 1 hour on return. And the reality is that's not how business or life works, right? It's not 1-to-1, right? Ideally, you want 1-to-many. Right? I don't want a 1-to-1 trade. I want 1-to-many trade, but you have to look big picture. Right? If you're only looking for the transaction, you're always going to be in transaction mode. That's a horrible way to go through business. It's a horrible way to try to convert sales and make things happen. You want to think of lifetime value of clients, overall averages and numbers, so that if you're investing time with somebody who may not be an ideal buyer right at this moment, but they will be in the next 30, 60, 90 days, or you're spending a lot of time to sell them a small product, which is not a high ROI on a commission or on a payday. However, the more people you get in the smaller price points, you got to start paying attention to what are the conversion rates. How many people who buy the $297 program upgrade to the $5,000 program? And how many of them upgrade to the $25,000 program? How many of them renew year after year, et cetera? Right? So you have to be thinking big picture. If you're in transaction mode and you're only focused on what you think your time is worth today, then I'm just telling you 100%, you're going to be in that mode forever because you'll never be thinking big picture. You have to choose one or the other. Are you thinking big picture and trying to maximize today in light of the big picture? Or are you thinking of today and then hoping to get tomorrow value? Okay. So please always open the mindset to lifetime value when you're focusing on trading your time for an outcome. Okay. So with that in mind, the part that leads to that is, we go, okay, I only want to talk to the people who are most qualified and ready to buy, right? Are they either qualified and not ready or not qualified, or they're both? And we tend to put people into buckets early. The first part of it is overvaluing our own time. We think I'm more important than that person. And instead of understanding that, all of the actions that they took don't mean that they understand them the same way you do, right? You can watch somebody's qualification form and misread it. You can prejudge it. How many times have you done this? Have you done this? right? If I could show you that this stuff is costing you, are you open to applying it? Are you open to putting it into action, right? Can I get a yes or no, right? I can show you this stuff, right? First and foremost, I'm going to tell you, everything I'm telling you is nothing I read in a book. Everything I'm telling you is stuff that I do all the time. Okay, I talk to people. My time value relationship is pretty strong, right? I earn a very high hourly rate, right? And there's this myth we trick ourselves into saying, well, if I'm worth $500 or $1,000 an hour or whatever it might be, then I should only talk to people who could earn that back. It's like, you don't know what taking 10 minutes out of your time to talk to somebody who's not qualified today, but that person is ready to buy from you in 6 months. And that person refers people to you in the next few months, again, depending on how well you treat them over time, right? But if you do that with everybody, then you start building a residual. It just works, right? If you're relying on, you're relying on math. I'm relying on laws of the universe combined with math. Right? So you give, the more you sow, the more you reap. But if you're only focused on making sure that you leverage your time, then you're not actually focused on them. You're focused on you. And as long as you're focused on you, you're limiting what you're going to reap because you're not sowing as much as you should or could. So you're literally limiting you're putting a lid on what you can get back in return. Right? So I think I've made that point, beat it to death, right? But are we on board? Can you buy that? Right? Can you see how taking that perspective will shift what you're doing in your business? By taking that perspective and shifting it, will it help you serve a little bit more powerfully? And you see how that would help you get more sales. Yeah. Okay. So tapping into that, here's the thing. When we come from the approach of, I'm going to serve this opportunity to see what the lifetime value can be, are you going to show up with more curiosity? Are you going to show up with more empathy? Are you going to show up looking for ways to be of service? Or are you going to show up scrutinizing and judging the situation? Right? I hear this a lot from salespeople all over, people on our team, people in the community, people. I don't want to talk to these people because they are not as qualified. But you don't know they're not as qualified. All you know is they did or didn't do something. And you're assuming that when you gave them instructions to do something or not, that it was crystal clear. And what we're finding more and more and more is that everybody communicates differently. Everybody absorbs information differently. People read stuff or don't read stuff. Most people are opting into things without reading almost anything. And we're like, we told them they're going to be here at this time. We told them to get on this conference line. We told them to fill out this assessment. We told them to be serious about it. It doesn't matter if you told them. It matters if they heard it and if it resonated. And if maybe the moment they clicked on the button to book an appointment with you or to take that next action, they were in resistance because they were automatically starting to, they're on their own buyer journey. And they're thinking, okay, if I push on this, are they going to start spamming me? If I push on this, are they going to start trying to sell me? Are they, they're already in defensive mode. So you can't assume that they were engaging the content or the action items the way you intended. And if you're coming from that perspective, you're already losing because you're judging them guilty for something that isn't even clear. And we find out that a ton. One little word or phrasing can all of a sudden put them in a position of going, oh, I didn't actually know that's what I was supposed to do. Or I didn't know why, therefore I didn't do it, etc. And you're prejudging that situation. And you're prejudging that based on the belief and the mindset that my time is more important than yours. Right? Are you open to that perspective? Are you open to seeing that? Or are you just like, are you digging your heels in the ground right now? Saying, no, that's not it. My time is valuable, blah, 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 right? Curious to what you think about that. Okay. So here's what happened. I get this a lot. We have this discussion frequently with our team because we're always in this balance. I value your time as well. That's the key. That's the important part. I understand your time is valuable. Your time is the only asset you actually own, right? Well, how you move through time. And I don't ever want you wasting your time, right? But a lot of that is perspective and mindset, right? Emotional sales intelligence. How do you show up with the massive amount of optimism, seeing the highest opportunity in a situation? Now, it can lead to being delusional, right? Every single action and every single thought has a pro and a con, right? Has a price and a benefit. So the benefit of being completely optimistic, the way I tend to be, I see the possibility in everything, is I can make opportunities I could create opportunities where there weren't any. I can help somebody who didn't even think they had a solution want the solution that we create enough to want to pursue it. And the negative side is I can also spend my time dreaming on somebody who just has no chance, right? But that's the minority. That's the downside is the minority of the time. That happens. It's 100%. Yes, it will happen. It's not an if, it's an only when. So it definitely happens, but it doesn't happen as often as the other side, right? My energy can be infectious, my thought process. And when I'm in that moment, and if I'm thinking positively, thinking about what they can do, and what's there, I'm more creative. I can help them see what's possible for them and why they should do it and get them inspired to want to take action and overcome and figure out how to make money happen when they didn't think they had any, etc. Right? Creativity comes out of optimism and inspiration, not out of fear and lack. Okay, so we want to keep that in place. We want to keep them aware of the fact that they must do something and then inspire them to take action on it. So this is the point. This is what happened today, right? I had a conversation with somebody who was on my calendar. Small detour here, lesson learned. I had a 7 a.m. appointment. I don't do 7 a.m. appointments. At 7 a.m., I'm usually in that chair right over there reading my Bible, doing my Bible time and my devotion. So lesson on me that I need to make sure I'm managing my calendar, which is what we're always challenging our team with. Because if it's there, it's your calendar. You own it. So you always have to be in charge of it. Okay, lesson, put that back, get back on track. 7 o'clock appointment, I get on the call. Here's what happened. We're paying, we're paying for Facebook traffic. We're driving we're growing our list. Many of you may have come through a Facebook ad to be in our Facebook group. We're on our list. The gentleman clicked on the Facebook ad, went to our Leads Made Easy free training. Clicked on it and registered. Never did a thing. He'd been on the list for 3 weeks now. I looked and he had not opened a single email. There's 13 emails in there, didn't open a single one. Probably they went into his spam. Who knows? All I know is he never touched a thing. Our team, we have our sales support team reaching out, just like many of you seen here, Allison, Deepika, others, they reach out, had a conversation, find out why he got in here in the first place and what he was looking for. He was confused. He thought literally that he was jumping into a potential Facebook ad opportunity. Like, hey, how are we going to help him build a Facebook ad? He had no idea what our Leads Made Easy concept was about. And if you don't, then you need to register. We'll drop a link in here. Make sure you go check it out. If you registered for it, go in your inbox, take the program, run through it. The whole objective is for you to help be able to make sales without getting better at selling, make a lot more sales, be able to have the right conversations with the right people at the right time about the right things, be able to have people showing up ready to buy. Okay. And just being naturally curious and doing the things we teach from the make more sales without getting better at selling perspective, like truth telling, like being clear about your positioning, being clear about what's at stake for the people you speak to, right? Those are the 3 things that I really leaned on this morning. So back to that story, we get engaged in a conversation. And just because I was naturally curious about who he is, clearly positioned about what we do, knowing how to talk about it and share with it in a way that was attractive to him and confirmed why he showed up here in the first place and was naturally curious about why and what he's doing and what's at stake and why it mattered. Then he shows up. We have a dialogue. He goes, we very interested in our peak performance network and understands fully that a couple of $1,000 investment, because he's got a $250,000 revenue goal, is a piece of cake, no brainer, because it's 100x ROI. Okay, so we're talking about value, we're talking about solutions, and I wasn't trying to sell him anything. I was trying to help him get clear about what he wanted and clear about solving this problem. And then he's now taking the Leads Made Easy course right now. He's like, send it to me. I want to go through it right now. And then we're going to talk on Monday so I can get set up in the network, right? He proposed that solution to me once I showed him what his options were and how important it was that he takes action on it. Literally, I didn't pull that. I didn't even ask it. I was just positioning ourselves, helping him see clearly why he needs to reach the objective he is desiring for, because it's fantastic and he needs to do it. Right? And that what he's doing is something we're ideally suited to help with. And here's how I would see him doing it, because here's what we do in that area. Right? So he was immediately attracted to that. He's like, yes, I get it. And you can help me because I know you understand it, because you're doing this, you're solving the problem this way. And I presented a solution that absolutely made sense and was total alignment with him. He didn't know who I was, had no clue who Jim Padilla was. no clue who Gain the Edge was, no clue about our Leads Made Easy program, never heard of the Peak Performance Network, never watched a webinar or a video or anything except for a 2-minute video that he saw on a Facebook ad. Okay, why am I sharing this with you? Because you are overqualifying people. You are spending way too much time trying to determine, did this person watch all of my webinar? I only want to talk to the people who showed up on the webinar. I only want to talk to the people who qualify at X level. They say they're making 6 figures. They say they're doing X activities. They say they've been in business for so long. And yes, those are important. They're good. It's good information to bring into the conversation. I don't use that stuff to disqualify people. If I have a questionnaire and they don't answer anything, or they put NA, 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 that's fantastic. That tells me there's a lot to dig into. That tells me there's somebody there who's probably fearful because they've been taken advantage of, or they don't know what they're getting into, so they don't want to be too vulnerable and too real until they get into the situation. Most of you would disqualify that person. And you don't know what's under there. You should not be using your qualification, your funnel, as a way to eliminate people. You got to use it as a way to discover how to serve people better. Again, mindset to it. This is emotional sales intelligence. Here's the deal. This is just a simple math. I will make more offers than you. I will qualify people on my own. I make more offers, I will make more sales. And I will make more money. Not because I'm great at sales. I just do the things that most people aren't doing. Most people are too busy trying to protect themselves and insulate ourselves. Because I don't see that my time is more important or more valuable than yours. So I'm here for you. I'm here to take that call at 7 a.m. and explore it. Because looking at it, the way he qualified himself was not very attractive. It was a 7 a.m. call. I promise you, yesterday I was looking at the calendar. I was like, oh, I need to reach out to Marie on our team. She helps manage my calendar. Until today, because we have Ellen, who's just joining our team. Well, you'll see at some point. We'll introduce her to you. But the point is, I was literally in my head thinking of, okay, I'm going to send a message to Marie. Hey, can you reach out to my 7 a.m., reschedule him, and maybe even have somebody else on the team take care of it? Because A, it was 7 a.m., B, the qualifications weren't super high. But again, he was thinking he was showing up for something else. He thought he was showing it to a Facebook marketing strategy. He had no idea what we were looking to talk about. Why? So you cannot assume facts not in evidence. Anytime somebody puts an answer, that all you know is they put an answer. You don't know why they answered it the way they did. You don't know why they took the actions they did. All you know is that they did. Don't assume why people think. Don't assume people's intentions or their thoughts, and everything can have multiple meanings. So don't ever get stuck on the fact that what you think it means is the only thing it means. And here's the deal. You make more offers, you make more sales. That's a simple fact. So find ways to qualify people. I'm not saying just find a way to throw offers at people. Don't throw pearls to swine, right? As it says in scripture. Don't cast your pearls before swine. So you don't want to just waste offers on people who are not expressing any interest or need or desire. What I want to do is challenge you at the moment right now to step up. Don't look at how they're not qualified. Look at how can I get better at qualifying people on my own? How do I become the qualification process? How do my ability to tap into what's happening and pay attention to their emotional buying cycle, the journey that they're on, and what is triggering them, and being deeply curious about the things they say, the things they do, and the actions that they take and where they come from. Be stunned at how much you can discover about people and why they are now ready to take action and more qualified than they ever were, simply because you're doing what comes naturally to you as a human being. Do you see how easy this can be? Are you open to doing that? If you're open to this, when will you apply it? Right? Are you open to putting it into play now? Are you open to trying it on your next call? Right? Are you open to looking at your calendar and seeing how you can manage it better to pull more conversations in, have more of the right conversations? How can you look at your qualifying, at your schedule and say, okay, all these people who have the bar high, this high, how can I lower the bar on the qualifications and maybe change the perspective that these are not in place to eliminate people. They are in place to give me better information, give me a better conversation opportunity, right? It's something that we've talked about. We've done many times in the past. We've tested it back and forth, and I will tell you the results are insignificant. Having the information provably does not get higher conversions. Provably. It's a comfort level thing. We've had campaigns where we've taken all the questions off the table and had people just show up. And all you know about them is that they booked an appointment, they scheduled a webinar, potentially watched the webinar, we don't know how much of it, and booked an appointment. You don't know anything else like about them, but you know that they're here to solve the problem. Right? All of a sudden, how much better do you have to be at paying attention? Is that exciting? Right? It's a little bit scary because now you don't know everything. Now you have to be on edge. You got to think this through more strategically. What could they be experiencing that would make them want to explore this solution? And how do I navigate and engage that question, that conversation differently? Right? Great ways to approach the sales conversation. Please engage us and reach out. Let us know how you're feeling about this. What is your challenge around what I'm saying? What do you think about the value of your time and how you should be navigating it? Right? Because I don't have the answers for everything. I just know what works. And I know that here's the key. This is a simple piece. I know that the people who do what I'm talking about make more sales. That's just the truth. And it's not about being better at selling. It's not about managing your script better. It's about just being naturally curious and speaking the truth of what is and asking great questions and diving into what's at stake for people and being their champion for overcoming that and fighting to win in those moments. It's totally different than mastering the sales tactics and strategies and scripts. Make more sales without getting better at selling. Join us, jump in. Thanks so much for your trust, allowing us to be part of your success team, and take action on this, right? Are you going to do this? When are you going to do it? What's the one thing you're going to do differently? Post that in the link or reach out and let us know, because we want to know how we can support you, how we can give you feedback and support around all of these strategies that you're learning, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. And I promise you, you'll start seeing more sales coming with more ease and grace, right? We'll talk to you soon. See you on the next episode.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Make More Sales podcast. If you like what you're hearing, you'll definitely want to check out our Make More Sales Facebook group, where you'll find more amazing content, including free sales training and live content happening every single week. So make sure to follow the link below to join. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show, and share it with your friends. That way, more people can learn how to make more sales without getting better at selling. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.